Hey everyone, I'm Dan from JazzComposersPresent.com, an online space where composers, musicians, and listeners come together to celebrate the music we love. I'm joined today by Mike Tomaro, saxophonist, composer, arranger, retired jazz studies program director at Duquesne University, and co-author of Instrumental Jazz Arranging, a comprehensive and practical guide. Mike is here to show us how to draw on motives to construct coherent introductions.
Thanks so much, Dan. Thanks for having me. So this lesson will give some insight into using melodic, harmonic, and rhythmic elements that are present in a composition to develop relevant introductions to an arrangement of that composition, as stated before by Dan. By the way, the examples he mentioned, the book that I co-wrote, the examples that are presented here come from that book. And I do need to mention, because he will figure into this in a minute, my co-author, Dr. John Wilson, who was my mentor. He was the director of jazz studies at Duquesne University when I was a student. All right, moving on. Motivic development is a staple of every composer and arranger. This process involves the manipulation of the unique elements of the composition. Motives can be taken from any place in the tune. Most often, motivic development can be found in the body of the arrangement after the exposition, but this technique can also be applied just as effectively in its introduction. As mentioned earlier, there are three possible types of motivic development: melodic, harmonic, and rhythmic, that can be used singularly or in combination. These elements become motives to be manipulated either in an overt or covert manner to create an introduction that sets up the melody chorus of the arrangement. The first type, melodic, is the most often used and easily identifiable. The motive can be as little as 2 or 3 notes or as much as an entire phrase. In this first example, I've taken Dizzy Gillespie's well-known introduction to All the Things You Are and manipulated the bass line. I had decided to write this arrangement as a samba, so it felt natural to rework this line from 4 to 8 bars. If you aren't familiar with the original bass line, you'll see it at the top of the page. This introduction is an additive one, presenting each element added atop the prior one. After the bass line is presented, I thicken the original dominant sharp 9 chords by adding a major 13 to add extra dissonance and tension to that aspect. Finally, on the third pass, the saxes enter with a unison line using the half-whole diminished scale. Several years ago, my book co-author, John Wilson, wrote some arrangements for Nancy Wilson. In his introduction to the American popular song Day In, Day Out, he used the first phrase of the song, which is a simple rising whole step, and developed it sequentially, harmonizing it using major triads, which, when combined with the bass line, create tension through contrary motion. In another arrangement by John for Nancy Wilson, he takes the hook of the holiday song Let It Snow that begins in the 6th bar of the A section and develops it. The 3-time repetition of the title constitutes a descending scale, which is harmonized using parallel 13th chords with altered ninths and suspended chords. One final example of melodic motivic development that we'll listen to comes from the arrangement of my composition Barflies, which is a contrafact of Star Eyes. Here we use the bass line from the famous Charlie Parker recording, coupled with the initial descending major second of the melody to create a rather obtuse introduction to this composition. Harmonic and rhythmic motivic development may present a bit more of a challenge, mainly due to the discovery of usable material. A perfect example of the use of a harmonic motive can be found in my arrangement of John Coltrane's Giant Steps. The song is comprised of 3 tonal centers spaced a major third apart. This introduction simply states the tonic chord of each tonal center. These chords are intentionally placed out of order to accommodate the movement into the body of the tune. Rhythmic elements were also introduced. The distinctive rhythmic patterns of Thelonious Monk's straight note chaser present a great opportunity for development. To accomplish this, we isolated the rhythms of the tune without regard for the melodic contour. New melodies were created from these motives and were paired with their mirrors. Each motive ends with a vertical sonority derived from the intervals of each melody. These motives were separated by drum fills, resulting in a total of 12 measures, alluding to the blues form. In summation, this technique can be very satisfying to the composer and arranger, as well as the listener/analyst. The composer-arranger will find it interesting to discover usable motives in their own compositions and then develop them in their arrangements. The listener/analyst will gain insight and enjoyment finding what elements were manipulated and in what manner they were altered. Thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks for watching today's mini lesson. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos down below. To watch our full-length events and participate in live Q&As with our presenting artists, head to jazzcomposerspresent.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.